Here we go. 3, 2, 1. How sweet it is. The gay Grimace Mets are 11-2. The New York Mets are back to 500 for the first time in 50 days. After a 2-game Subway Series sweep over the rival New York Yankees. 21-9. The Jets beat the Giants over 2 days. The Mets demolished the Yanks as the bats keep cooking. The boys keep winning. And now the Astros come to town. We recap a fun Subway Series victory and discuss the state of the now contending Mets, who have completely turned their season around. As Mets public address announcer at Citi Field, my guy Colin Cosell joins the show this week. All that and a whole lot more. It's coming up next on the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to the Sick Podcast. Mets Magic with Jake Brown.
And it's in there, strike three called. The Mets win the pennant. The New York Mets have won the National League pennant. Put it in the books. The New York Mets, for the first time in 15 years, are champions of the National League.
The sickest New York Mets podcast. It's gonna be sick.
Welcome back to the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. I'm your host, Jake Brown, at Jake Brown Radio on social media. Sick Pod Mets is where you get us on Twitter, X, and subscribe on YouTube. Smash that thumbs up, youtube.com/at the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. Smash that thumbs up button below. Comment below how you feeling about the surging hot Mets, who are dominating the month of June, the hottest team in the sport. In the month of June, they don't lose in June. It's not the June swoon. It's the May malaise and the June cruise. And we're loving every part of it. Joining us in a few minutes will be Mets public address announcer at Citi Field, Colin Cosell. Make sure you're subscribed on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Give us that 5-star rating. Write in a nice review. We appreciate your support. I started my Subway Series tradition back in 2000, in the regular season. I went to my first Subway Series game, and I fell in love. The atmosphere as a 9-year-old, let's go Mets, let's go Yankees. You know, it was let's go Yankees, then Yankees suck in return. Now, I didn't say suck because when I said Pikachu sucks, I got soap in my mouth growing up, and I didn't curse as a kid. So even sucks, I wouldn't say. So I would say Yankees stink, before my balls dropped and I developed this radio voice that I have now. But I fell in love. And later on that year, the New York Mets played the Yankees in the World Series. And I said, you know what? I don't know if I said that. I think it might have been just a happen of circumstance. I ended up going each year. I'd say, Dad, like, let's go. And I just kept it going. And it's my proudest tradition, the fact I've been able to make it work. Now, if you listened before, you know I have my father's son home opener tradition every year since 2003. That's going 21 years strong. Subway Series, Mets, Yankees go to at least one game. And I try for both stadiums and try for multiple games every year since 2000. 24 straight years it continued. And this year, to start it off, part one, there'll be 2 more in a month at Yankee Stadium in July. It was glorious. It was beautiful. The Mets demolished the Yankees. 21-9, they outscore them. Mark Vientos hits 2 homers on Tuesday. Francisco Alvarez, homers on Wednesday. Brandon Nimmo, homers on Tuesday. Harrison Bader, homers on Tuesday and Wednesday against his former team. Tyrod Taylor had Tyrone. I got the Jets on my mind. Jets being the Giants. Tyrone Taylor hits his first homer Wednesday in 2 months. David Peterson only gives up a run Tuesday. Had command issues. Didn't go deep. Pitches well. Wednesday, Sean Manaea, command issues, still pitched well through 5 before the monsoon comes in, and we'll get to it, and chaos ensues in the rain delay. But the Mets are playing team baseball. It's a team that is enjoying playing with each other. When you lose, you don't enjoy each other that much. And Jorge Lopez, you know, he gave his life for us. He was a martyr. And June 2nd, the Mets were 11 games under 500. They were 6 games back in the wild card. 24 days later, they are 1.5 out. They are at 500 for the first time in 50 days since May 8th. And they are standing alone as the one team behind the Padres and Cardinals for the wild card. 1.5 back of the second and third wild card spot. And after they were behind 6 teams, Diamondbacks, Pirates, Giants, Nationals, Reds, Cubs, they have jumped them all. And they are a game above the Diamondbacks. They are now above all those teams. Over 24 days, the Mets have changed their season, they've changed their future, and they've changed likely from sellers to buyers when the trade deadline hits in a month. Now anything can happen in the next month. But this team is playing so well. And as funny as the Grimace thing is, maybe some truth to it. This guy pops up, and the Mets are playing better baseball than anyone else. 11-2 since he showed up, and it was a game they needed. Remember, they came back from London after that miraculous Sunday game, lose Tuesday in a lifeless effort to the Marlins. Wednesday, they come out, they win, and then the winning started there, and they just couldn't lose. This is the team we signed up for. And what a 2-game set is what was. I had a blast Tuesday. I didn't go Wednesday. I went Tuesday. And for me, it was special. A couple of years ago in the suite, I got to enjoy the game with Jeff Nelson and Darryl Strawberry. Obviously, Figgy, of course, too. This year, I mean, all the stars came out. I got in there like the second or third inning. Each inning, it was someone new. Now, Donovan Mitchell was in there. I brought the orange podcast shirt. He has the blue one. He told me it shrunk in the wash, and now it's up to his titties. NBA All-Star Donovan Mitchell. I'd love to see him with my face on his titty with the rest of the shirt shortened because it shrunk. I want to know what washer you use. I told Figgy, text him. He needs to wash that inside out. Donovan's in there. Matt Harvey is in there. I'm watching the game with Matt Harvey. Introduced myself to Matt Harvey. Doc walks in. I see Doc a million times. Darryl walks in. Apparently, Guy Fieri was in there before me. Precious Achua walks in as the Knicks acquire Mikal Bridges. I was like, what timing? Carlos Beltran walks in. And I'll talk about this later. But one of my childhood heroes, one of my favorite players. It was great to meet him. He smelled incredible. Great shirt. Love Carlos Beltran. 2-game sweep. Beautiful. A man that withstood it. Who you heard on the public address system on Wednesday. He was indoors. He avoided the monsoon. That's Colin Cosell, and he joins me now on the Sick Podcast. Mets Magic at Cosell PA on X. Sorry for that soliloquy, but I had to get that off my chest. Colin, welcome to your debut of the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. You've been on Amazing but True with me and Figgy. Subway Series was fun, right? Like, the vibes were fun. Obviously, the weather Wednesday was rough, but they made it through. They got to finish. I think a lot of Met fans wanted the game to maybe be rain shortened to help the bullpen, but the bullpen got it done. Even Adrian Hauser got a weird, funky 3-inning save that doesn't happen often. And we're 500, and the vibes are high, and Grimace, we're riding it till the end, baby.
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, Jay, great to see you, my friend. Great to be on the Sick Podcast for the first time. And it was crazy. Very few people know this, but I have a day job where I work as a corporate events host and MC. And I was working an event in Chicago on Tuesday night, which is why I wasn't in the booth, because I typically work the weekday games. And I'm watching it on my phone, and I'm like, we're up 1-0. Oh, we're up 7-1. I was like, oh my God, what is happening here? I'm like, this is great. And then I looked down, I had to address a crowd, and I looked back at my phone. All of a sudden it's 9-7. And I'm like, what? And I looked down, and it was, Aaron Judge just hit a grand slam. Of course he did. I'm like, this place must be going absolutely nuts right now. And then I saw, Guy Fieri was roaming around, saw the celebrities and everything. Actually, Guy Fieri's son, Hunter, is engaged to a former colleague of mine with the Mets, Tara Bernstein. So
Tara Lynn, yes, of course.
Yeah, so they're all, interconnected now. So I missed all of that, but I was super excited to obviously get back. Flew in from Chicago yesterday, landed about 1:30, was at the ballpark at 2:15, which is a few hours before I would normally get there. And it was really, truly like the calm before the 2 storms, the game 2 atmosphere, and of course the monsoon that came in. And of course, nonstop Grimace talk and all of that. And, I've been very, very fortunate to witness this entire thing. I got to announce Grimace up for his ceremonial first pitch. And when I saw him come on the field, I turned to my spotter, Nick, and I was like, Nick, is that Grimace? And he was like, yeah, no, he's throwing out a pitch. I'm like, what? I look at my script and I'm like, yeah, no, this is happening. And thought nothing of it. And we were quietly on a hot streak at that point. We had swept the Nationals and then, split the series in London. And then that first game was a clunker against the Marlins, then eked out the victory with, on Tuesday, or I'm saying on Wednesday. And then the Grimace era began on Thursday. And it's just been like rolling ever since. And, beating the Padres, sweeping them, they're a solid team, obviously, right behind them. Sweeping them was just like, wait a minute, we might be onto something here. We knew they weren't all going to be sweeps, but beating the Rangers, and I don't care that, they're sub 500 team and everything. They are the defending world champions. And there's something that carries some weight with that as well. Taking 2 of 3 from them in Arlington, it's like, okay, this is really happening. And it just kept rolling and rolling. And then we're coming into the Subway Series. And I'm like, if we can take 1 of 2, and we took that first game, I'm like, there's another series that we didn't lose. Cause I'm doing it by series now. And then last night when we took that 3-0 lead, I'm like, God, if we sweep them right now, because the Yankees fans, they come in droves. Like, we had a sellout crowd last night and they fill that ballpark with let's go Yankees and all that stuff. And, I love it. I love that atmosphere. It's playoff like, in the middle of the season. And I, as a PA announcer, thrive on it. I went, 110% in my my lineups, my starting lineups for the Yankees. It was just deadpan monotone. You're not welcome here sort of tone. And then for the Mets, it was just like every player is an all-star. Every player is a rock star. And I want you all on your feet as I'm announcing these guys. Let's tear this place apart. And then lo and behold, you had every single starter contributing. If they didn't get hits, they were getting runs. Brandon Nimmo didn't get a hit, but he scored 2 runs. Jeff McNeil didn't get a hit, but he got an RBI. Everyone else was getting hits and raking it. We're, watching home runs and just, it was all together. Not a great outing by Minaya by any stretch. 5 walks. You don't really want to do that, but it was efficient enough and effective enough. He got himself into trouble and got himself out of it. And that was paramount to their success as well. And then, of course, as you mentioned, Adrian Hauser getting his first career save in that rare 3-inning, save, situation after what was arguably the worst storm I've ever seen in Citi Field. The vibe is there. The vibe is 100% there. This is a team that is suddenly at 500, and to get to 500 with a sweep of the Yankees carries some weight with it as well. This team has swagger now. They're having fun. They're enjoying themselves, as you alluded to. The Iglesias song OMG has brought them together. Laura Albanese, who is, a phenomenal writer and one of the best follows on Twitter, by the way, or X, whatever. She said, the vibe in the clubhouse now, they were listening to like easy listening jazz in like April and May. In June, it's all over the place. They're listening to like The Police. They're listening to Sting, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and of course, OMG. Like everything about this team has changed. And you're like, Stearns really might be a genius. He took a lot of players who were looking to bounce back, and they're bouncing back. JD Martinez with some clutch hits last night. He's been fantastic. He's back to his form. It's an all-out effort, and we don't even have Senga back yet. We don't have Diaz for several more games, and they're still pulling it out. Man, they're giving us reasons to believe and put the believe in. We got to believe. So it's super exciting, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah, it is bittersweet when you get to 500 to do it against the Yankees for a team. And he said they started getting hot, but like when they lost that Tuesday coming back from London to the Marlins, you're like, here we go. We're back in America. We're back to reality. Grimace pops out Wednesday. His 53rd birthday is why he was throwing the pitch. I keep saying on here, he ages like fine wine. He just doesn't age. It's that anti-aging purple cream that he uses. It's been remarkable. Let's flash this picture here of Grimace. It was a video, but let's flash the photo because the Subway Series started. I'm with Keith McPherson and the Bleacher Creature before Tuesday. They're all saying Mets fans suck. Mets first place Yankees. It ends with this. Look at just the scene, and good job by Jocelyn for putting the parental advisory on there because it is. It's like an album cover, and it was apparent Tuesday and Wednesday. There were several people in Grimace costumes. Like they bought them on Amazon, $20, however much it costs. Sure, it wasn't that much. And this was not even like most of them are like fugazi looking like this one. But for everyone gathered around, for someone to hold up or they put a chair and he's standing on a table or whatever it is and just chugs a beer and everyone rejoices. The vibes are immaculate. And like a couple weeks ago, you wouldn't utter a grimace. There's no fan, there's no costume that you put anyone on that this crowd would emerge like this. And obviously, it was also a place of shelter. You said it was like a monsoon out there. You had and if you couldn't get into the club, and I'm sure the access to the clubs were all slammed. That their only choice was to hang out, by the chicken parm stand behind 103 over there.
You'd be amazed at how many people actually were staying just there in the overhang. And I had to make multiple announcements. I'm like, fans, no, this is serious. Like there is cloud to ground lightning. There's hail on the way. Like this is a bad storm. People wanted to hang out and see how bad the storm was going to be. And then when the wind started swirling, they realized that there was no shelter to be had because the wind was moving horizontal or the rain was moving horizontally. That's when they started to move inwards. But,
to the point, one guy was taking a shower. I mean, one guy had the shower coming down on him. And I mean, it was hot out. I'm sure it felt great. I don't know if that's the greatest water to take in. It's
you're getting runoff from the upper deck, like runoff from whatever's been on people's shoes, spilled beer, food, sweat, you name it, and all of it just running down. This man is acting like this is holy water just pouring down from God.
Grimace water. It's Grimace
water. I pray for that man. I hope he still has his skin. I hope that he hasn't grown an additional appendage somewhere. I hope his family, threw on hazmat suits and sprayed him down properly with Clorox when he got home. Sir, whoever you are a golden god, but you're also a maniac, and I pray for your health.
Yeah, he got a new strain of COVID. It's the Grimid.
It was invented right there on his skin.
It was the Subway Series monsoon strain of COVID, and yeah, that picture, it just shows you like the Mets fans are happy right now, and like sucks Thursday's the day off, but it's fun that the Mets still are home this weekend against an Astros team who is playing a lot better now. You want to talk about a team surging? The Houston Astros are 8-2 in their last 10 as well, and they are just 3 out of the wild card of 500. A team that, a couple weeks ago when the Mets were 11 under, I'm thinking, wow, if the Astros get back in it, they're a perfect fit for Pete Alonso to trade. They need a first baseman. Now it's like you can't even utter Mets trading away pieces unless it's Jeff McNeil, but I don't know if you get anything for him at this point. I've mentioned on here Jose Iglesias, and I mean, you're right. The season kind of was starting to turn around before that, and it started the day Iglesias got here on that Thursday against the Diamondbacks when they won. And the smile he brings, the vibe, like I keep advocating, keep playing this guy. I mean, everyone loves him. They're doing at the homer, they're doing the oh my God, the hands in the air. He's now releasing the song tomorrow at 4 p.m. They said on the broadcast instead of next week. I can't wait to finally hear it. It's going to be the song of the summer at Citi Field. It's already the home run song, and how cool is that? Like, how often, let's check the Elias Sports Bureau. Has a Mets player ever had a song that became their home run song? I don't think so. I don't know if you can think of anyone.
No, not off the top of my head. I know that there have been players that have produced their own songs. I know there have been Mets that have produced their own songs. And hey, I'm all for the multi-talent, but look, whatever it is, I don't even think fans were grasping for anything. This just kind of fell into our lap. And again, they're very quietly, the Mets were compiling wins and no one was paying attention to it because everyone thought the season was a wash. No one really took it seriously. And then Grimace happened. And you know what? I embrace the weird, man. I am all for it. Like when I saw him down there and I saw him bouncing around, I made a stink over comms. Like for the rest of the game, I was like, I don't care what it takes. I need Grimace in my booth. Please, someone bring Grimace in my booth. And then I heard Grimace is in the control room. I'm like, that is 3 doors down and that is 3 doors too far away. I'm like, Grimace needs to be in my booth. Lo and behold, 8th inning, in walks Grimace. He's surrounded by a team of 6 people. All right. Grimace he's got an Secret entourage. Service. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. He comes in, they get him down the stairs. I was like, okay, I turned to Nick. I was just like, can you please record me announcing the next batter? And it was Jeff McNeil with Grimace next to me. and took pictures, did the whole thing. And then one of his handlers was holding a cell phone up, and the guy interviews me and is just like, what does it mean to you to have Grimace here in the ballpark tonight? And it's just like, he's bringing big purple energy and he's bringing us a win. And, like, let's hope we ride the lightning. Like, I saw it happening in real time. I'm going to sit there and call clairvoyance on this one. I was like, he's bringing it, like we need more Grimace in our lives. Like, he needs to keep coming back. Little did I know, he had like erupted in social media that night and the next day. And I'm not taking any credit for it whatsoever. It's 100% pure Grimace, but I knew there was something special happening that night and I needed to be a part of it. And then, with the Iglesias thing, whatever it is that's going to keep the team rolling, keep the light energy and the vibes, those immaculate vibes. That's key, when with Buck Showalter, and I love him as a manager, it was very serious. It was very old school baseball. It was very cut and dry, business as usual. And when you've got a bunch of young players coming in, and a mix of old wily players like your Scherzers and your Verlanders and the like, and then your up and comers like Vientos, Beatty, and Alvarez and what have you, it's not going to be a light environment. There's going to be a clash there, and it's going to be kind of this forced button up kind of attitude. This is fun. We're having fun. And this is unexpected fun. So all I can say is it's still going to be a roller coaster, but we're buyers now. We are a legitimate threat. We are beating teams that were supposed to be contenders for the World Series, not just the playoffs. And with that, to my Mets brethren and sisterin, I say, ride this, have fun. We're here. We're playing. It's meaningful baseball. It's the end of June. We're mid-season. This is a blast. Let's go Mets. Let's do this. We are facing off a team that just hit 500 at the same exact time we did, same exact record over the last 10 games, and they're the Astros. No one likes the Astros. The Astros barely like the Astros. So let's beat them like they beat on trash cans and get a win, another series win. We sweep them. Ooh, that'd be sweet. But let's just get a series win against them. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, they're cooking if they do, because after that, a team that's 2 games behind them in the Nationals, they play for 4 times, then the Pirates are 4, then the Nationals again, and then the Rockies, and then the All-Star break. So you get 8, 11, 14 after the Astros, 14 games against teams below 500, below you in the standings. You can separate yourself because Pittsburgh's only a game behind the Mets as well. So you got a favorable schedule ahead, and then you come back and you get the Marlins for 4 after that. So the Mets are in a schedule and the way they're playing position to put themselves that – to the next Subway Series, July 23rd. That's the next time they play a team over 500. That's the Yankees. Literally almost 1 month away until they play a team over 500. It's against the Yankees team who right now you saw is in they're in deep doo-doo. Without Giancarlo Stanton in that lineup, they from 4 down, it's ugly. Like I don't know why. You might as well just walk Judge at this point because when your cleanup hitter is JD Davis, why not walk? I mean, DJ LeMahieu's been terrible. Glaber's getting mental health days because he's been so bad. Verdugo's been terrible. Like it is. You would not have guessed. If you put a gun in my head before and said, what record are these teams? You would have thought they were in opposite positions. You would have not thought the Yankees were in first and the Mets were fighting for their lives to get to 500. And that's the case. And that's a good sign that the Mets are outplaying teams with better records, like you said. And yeah, I said it amazing, but true. I thought the clubhouse was not tight-knit last year. I thought Buck, he said old school, was not always aware of everything that's going on. He's an older guy. Mendoza clearly, backs his players. He'll thank Diaz, the sticky thing, like the substance thing, which we should talk about, guy not performing, like he'll think, but he'll back them. And so far I haven't had really anything to complain about with Mendoza. My only complaint, maybe he should back the guys a little bit more on the field, maybe argue a little bit more like an Aaron Boone. But that's always a tough argument. It's like, oh, I wish my manager got ejected more so he wouldn't be managing games. But I think otherwise, Mendoza as a rookie manager has kept the fort together in his first year, and I think the team is riding with him and the personalities and the Iglesias. Now, McNeil's the thing. We'll see here. I think by the trade deadline, you can't keep starting Jeff McNeil. He's an automatic out. His OBP is under 300. Jose Iglesias is not the future, but he is the guy right now, not only personality-wise, but he's also hitting 430. Like, every time he plays, he hits. He goes 3 for 3. He goes 4 for 4. Like, he plays great defense. Like, everything about Jose Iglesias you got to love. And you got Luis Angel Acuna riding high in AAA, playing great right now in AAA, who is on the horizon. So I think good things on the horizon. I think they're playing him because they're trying to see if he can raise his value a bit here. But if not, you got to say, hey, we'll still pay you, but we're not going to start you. It can't be a money reason to play Jeff McNeil. But otherwise, outside of that, the vibes are great in Mets land right now. And, Drew Smith also goes to the IL. Like they're what's fun about this run is that they're still battling adversity. Starling Marte, Colin, is out for a month. Drew Smith, the elbow strain, that sounds like it could be that's not a 2-week injury. Drew Smith might miss time. I don't think that kills the Mets, but when you talk about Edwin Diaz having to miss 8 more games for the stupid sticky stuff suspension, which I hate, Drew Smith down, you're in trouble in the bullpen, and that's going to be the number one thing they have to address before the deadline is helping this bullpen. But what's been good about this run is the adversity they fought, the injuries they fought, the suspensions they fought, everything they fought through this, yet they're still riding high and finding ways to win games and winning together, playing together. And that's what championship teams, that's what playoff teams do. They play together, they win for each other. And it's been a joy to watch since June 2nd, the last couple of weeks.
I mean, it's a far cry from May. May, it was rock bottom. It really, the Jorge Lopez thing, and there was issues on both sides there. That was absolute 100% rock bottom.
That was the day where I said on here, Colin, that it was going to be a ghost town. You would be announcing to a crowd full of ghosts. There, it wouldn't be ghost forkballs. It'd be ghosts. No one was going to show up. Yeah. Now the Mets are a must-see event. Like, I think it'll be a great crowds. If it's good weather, fireworks night, you get the basketball jersey giveaway Sunday. I think it'll be a good crowds now this weekend.
Oh, Friday, all I can say is, fans, you're going to want to be there for several reasons that I cannot disclose, but you're going to want to be there.
Well, I figure it's going to be an extra cool light show with the fireworks because they've been doing it mid-game. So that's why I think I'm going to go, because I'm going to be honest, the fireworks in the past have not been that good there, but now with these new LED lights with the fireworks, like, it's almost a party. Like, you almost need to be like tripping on acid at points, but I won't do that because I don't
recommend.
Don't do that. But it's going to be a party.
He's not coming this year, so
it's like Brooklyn Mirage. It's like you're at Brooklyn Mirage on a Friday night, but you're at Citi Field.
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of things that this year has been kind of a feeling out process from up in the control room down to the field. With the organization, obviously a bunch of new pieces and everything, and a lot of pieces to fill in blanks. So the team has been feeling themselves out, and now they're just feeling themselves. Mendoza, first year as the actual skip, and it's been a feeling out process for him. There's been a couple of things where I've kind of raised one eyebrow, like, what is he doing there? And it's a learning process for everyone. And now when I announce his name, people are cheering. In May, he was getting boos, and I was like, this dude is 8 weeks into his tenure and he's getting booed. I'm like, this is tough. This is gonna be a long season. For us up in the control room, now that we have these LED lights, we're figuring it out as we go. And by we, I mean the geniuses that are actually in the control room. And I do truly believe they are geniuses, because they're figuring it out in real time. Like the whole pitching change when the starter is taken out and we do the stand clear of the closing doors, please. And then we shut off all the lights and start playing this ominous music. And someone
is that what that is? Because I don't think I had seen that Tuesday. I saw. I didn't. I guess it was a pitching change, but they did like fifth inning. There was a whole light show and it was like a party, and I had never seen that. Is that new?
Yeah, that's new. So that's been a feeling out process over the last over the last homestand, really. We had the whole concept, or they had the whole concept of the stand clear, the closing doors, please. And you've got the subway and City Vision, and it goes ding, ding, and then boom. And as soon as it hits, the lights go down, and it's like, out goes the pitcher. And it's all, it's to get the crowd involved, but it's also, like to get inside the minds of the opposition, because when you have that external, thing there, baseball is a very mental sport, and the most mental people on the field are pitchers. Pitchers are like ice hockey goalies of baseball. And I'm saying this as an ice hockey goalie. We're complete mental cases. So littlest thing can throw you off. Our DJ DJ Razor was messing with the Yankees in ways that I'm not going to fully disclose, but like musically, he was kind of like messing with them a little bit. But the whole thing was trying to figure out what to do after the doors close and lights go out. And Razor found this really ominous kind of like chanting thing that's got this like really slow EDM vibe to it. And we kind of inspired people to turn their flashlights on their phones. And then you've got this whole twinkling effect. And it's like the spotlight's on your team now, your pitcher's gone. It's a whole mind game thing. And they finally figured it out. And someone complained about it on social media, like, what's the point of all this? Why are you turning this into a nightclub? No, you idiot. You're missing the point. The point is we're trying to get inside your minds and we're having fun in the process. So
it's like the person who was mad about Grimace. They're like, the Mets aren't winning because of this purple blob, you idiots. It's like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, they're not winning because of a blob, but like, it's a fun thing. God forbid in a 162 game season, you have fun. And I think the light show is fun. Like, as someone, I love going to concerts. Like, I'm not a huge EDM guy, but I've been to some shows, and like, it's something that other stadiums don't have. You come for the experience, and when you win, all this feels better. So everyone complained about the dance crew, which, by the way, is only the big games. It's not every game. So for the people that laughed at that, I think when they win, like the Subway Series, the dance crew is an added element. We're up 5-3. Let's like dance on the dugout. Let's do the, oh my God. Let's have, and those are world-class dancers. That's not me dancing on the dugout, although they should have me because it'd be pretty entertaining to watch my fat ass dance on the dugout. All this is part of the entertainment factor of a game and the experience. And sure, they charge top dollar, but if they are going to charge this money, make it a show, make it a party, call it minor league, whatever you want to call it. I call it an experience. And for the people that want to make fun of it, oh, this is such a Mets, the Yankees want to do this. Well, that's why going to Mets games is more fun going to Yankee games, and why even Yankee fans say Citi Field is better than Yankee Stadium. So listen, if we're going to have the better experience, I mean, the hope is we have the better team soon enough, but it starts with the experience, and I think they're killing it with that, with the new additions.
Well, and I got to tell you, I mean, that all of that is a very concentrated effort. When we got together a week before the home opener for our rehearsal, we got the entire production crew together, the Queen's Dance crew, Mr. and Mrs. Met, everyone who's in the control room, everyone who's going to be producing on the field, the PAs, everyone. We were talking about the entertainment value, because no matter what, we want to make sure that the fans are entertained. And you are absolutely right. You pegged it. The dance crew is there when we know it's going to be a much larger crowd, because we want to get them as amped as possible, keep them entertained, and keep the spirits and the positive, energy flowing through the ballpark. That is all a concentrated effort. That is something that Steve Cohen wanted, that on down. The Mets brass, they want to make sure that this is a fan-centric, fun, enjoyable time. No matter what the product is on the field, you're having fun in the ballpark. Very funny, quick story. When I was flying back from Chicago yesterday, I was sitting between a married couple. They were celebrating their second anniversary. They're from just an hour outside of Seattle. They spent a few days in Chicago, had never been there before. Then they were flying to New York. And the reason I was sitting between them is the wife wanted to be near the window, and the husband was like 8 feet tall, and so he needed a leg room. So he was sitting on the aisle. And so she had the window open as we were flying in, and I always sit in the aisle. I never have the window open. And I actually was looking out, saw Citi Field, saw the whole city out the window. I was like, and I thanked her. I said, I haven't done that in so long, because I travel a lot. And I was like, I haven't done that in so long. It's really nice to take it all in. She's like, it's our first time to New York. So I got to talking to them, and I said, what are your plans for the next 5 days? And she said, touristy this, and this. I said, whatever you do, don't dedicate more than 1 hour to Times Square. Everything else you're doing perfectly. And they said, okay. I was like, you'll see why soon enough. I said, are you taking in any baseball games? She said, well, we did take in a Cubs game while we were in Chicago. And I said, oh, who'd you play? And she said, the Mets. And I was like, who won? She said, the Mets. I was like, you saw a good game. And then I said, well, so no games when you're in New York? She said, well, he tried to get tickets to the Yankees. And I said, why? She goes, because it's Yankee Stadium. I said, Yankee Stadium is a beautiful stadium, but it's a museum, and it's a no fun stadium. It's corporate, it's pinstripes through and through. You want fun, you go to Citi Field. You want to see the Mets again, you want to become a Mets fan, like I'm sure you root for the Mariners. She's like, yeah. So I gave them tickets. I had comp tickets for this weekend, and I was just like, give me your email address. You're going to Citi Field. It's like, I want you to go and experience what a true fun ballpark is like. So they're going on Friday night. So to Jason and Nina, enjoy yourselves at the game. You're in for it because this is what we're doing. We're trying to make sure that tourists that are in town that want to take in a ball game, families that are bringing their kids for the first time, people who have never been to Citi Field before, they walk away with, well, that was a memorable experience. And the one thing we started doing at the light show was with Edwin Diaz and his entrance. That fizzled out for a little bit because he, was going through struggles, but then he came back and he came back hard, and he will do the same again. And so we're constantly working to make the light show better. We're constantly working to make sure the fans are entertained, and the team is constantly working to get themselves better. It's just, top to bottom, we're all working our tails off to make sure you're entertained and that the product in the field is succeeding. And through and through, I think we're at a point right now where we are all riding high.
Yeah, and the people complain. I get it. Food, as we got more expensive this year, everything's kind of expensive. But if you're gonna pay top dollar, you want a product that you're happy to watch, and they've been fun to watch. Jake Brown here, the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, smash that thumbs up button. Comment below. Let us know how you feel about the Mets and this weekend ahead. Like you said, fireworks night, Friday night. I have a ticket Saturday, but I want to go Friday and Sunday. So maybe I'll give someone my ticket Saturday. But I want fireworks, and or I'll go to all three if I want to get crazy.
You want to be there Friday, guarantee you Friday.
Yeah, I got to go Friday. I have 2 vouchers left. So how I was first row behind the dugout is I had from Memorial Day 8 vouchers from that rainout game, and they were 4 Cadillac, 4 Hyundai. So I've been able to use them on the most expensive seat in the stadium, which is first row behind the dugout. $485 face value, which was bonkers. And I just been eating like crazy. And I might do that Friday. Maybe I'll see if I can get. I like to spread them out. So instead of bringing someone, I did that once. Instead of bringing someone, sometimes I just go myself and have a feast and just eat everything around the ballpark. It's not a bad idea, right?
You're doing God's work, because I can't really do that. Like, I can't eat spicy food because it makes you gunky. You can't, I learned that lesson the hard way doing a Cyclones game, and I had a spicy sausage and pepper sandwich, and I was just like clearing my throat like for every syllable. It was a mess. But there's so many things out there that I still have yet to try. But the food is fantastic. And look, also, it's just inflation, that's, the Fed trying to avoid, a recession. So it's just multiple things. But again, you're paying top dollar for something that is supposed to be a feast of the senses, every single one of them. And no matter what, the food is better, the vibe is better, and it's still going to be cheaper than Yankee Stadium, and a bunch of other ballparks out there. So, but yeah, Friday night, you want to be there. No matter what, the fireworks are going to be incredible. If we win, there's going to be a special added treat in there. If we lose, the fireworks are still going to be amazing, and it's just going to be another playoff kind of vibe because nobody likes the Astros. So, great time to be a Mets fan, and I'm eating up every minute of it.
Special added treat. Watch 50 Cent's gonna pop out, and they haven't done post game concerts this year. That's one thing I love to see with the light show. Have you heard anything about any post game concerts?
No, but I've heard that Busta Rhymes wants to come and perform again, and I'm like diehard Busta Rhymes fan. Like he's
chilling. Like I was in the club with him last year at Marquee. Like he was smoking a blunt next to me in Marquee at the club. I'm like, just come perform. Give him what, $5,000, $10,000. He'll show up.
Oh my God. Yeah. He wants to. He was approaching us about it. I think, while there's been kind of a feeling out period with everything, look, Steve Cohen came into this like right on, in the pandemic, and everything's been kind of a feeling out period, and how to build a team and all of that. And, now things are becoming more clear on what to do and how to approach it. So I think we will see concerts again. God willing, it'll be Busta Rhymes again. God willing, he won't have special added guest. Who was it? Will Smith's son came out with him when he performed on the dugout last time. It was like, dude, no, Busta should always be top billing. Always be top billing.
Jaden Smith.
Jaden came out there, and we were like, why? But yeah, no, I think concerts are going to come back. It's again, we're going to be more and more focused on making it fan centric and making sure that the fans have the best possible time, no matter what happens. And again, it's going to be a roller coaster, but I think now that as we approach midseason, everyone strap in because we are in for a hell of a ride.
What should happen Friday with the debut of Candelita's OMG at 4 p.m. I assume it's going to play Friday more, and maybe they win and Jose comes out and performs it for the fans. Just bring that up. If that wasn't already the thing, like if the song is coming out, that should be like a live performance.
See, I think you missed your calling and production. That's what we should be focusing on for the fireworks. See, all right. You know what, Jake? You missed your calling, man. That's all I can say. That is a top-notch idea. We'll definitely hear it if we get a home run. I'm sure we'll hear it no matter what, with the release.
At some point, I mean, the Friday seems like the day of the release, he could promote it. It's free promo for him. Everyone's going to stick around because good weather and fireworks. So you don't leave a fireworks game early. So I think Friday live performance will maybe talk to a few people, make it happen. But the Mets are electric. Drew Smith goes to the IL, and Ty Adcock gets called up. I'll leave it at that. He's had a.
I've had too many names this season that I started my season with Seymour Wiener. So
I can't wait for you to call Ty Adcock when he comes up from the bullpen. Now, he had a good year with Seattle last year, 15 innings only, but 3.45 ERA. He's 3.12 ERA and 8 2/3 innings AAA this year. So Ty Adcock, this team needs arms, and like they need Edwin Diaz come back and be good after the suspension. Listen, I thought that was ridiculous. If Clark Schmidt gets to wash his hand, why can't they're not consistent with these rules?
No,
none of us could say like most of that stuff wears off after his warm up pitches anyway. Like it was just ridiculous. It was not anything foreign. It was probably just sweat and rosin. Who knows? I thought Mendoza should have defended him a little more, and he basically said, "You break the rules, you break the rules." I wish he said like he didn't have anything, but maybe I guess he did. But let him wash his hands. Let him sanitize at least something.
Yeah, no. Well, we're in a sport where the umpires, every single thing they do is based on opinion, except for when a ball is legitimately caught by a glove. Like those are just cold hard facts. But pitches, all opinion. Who touched the bag first? That's going to be opinion based on what they saw. That's why we have instant replay. The opinion on what was on his hand, did it seem a little sticky to them? Okay, that's well and good, but then you should be able to go wash your hand instead of taking 10 valuable games away from this man and from this team. So there needs to be more consistency. And I understand a league that sometimes they really want to see a whole bunch of home runs. The balls were different. They admitted it. Sometimes they want to see a whole lot of no hitters, and the pitchers will be allowed to use a little more sticky stuff. I don't know. Whatever the case may be, it's like there needs to be a happy medium or a balance there, because you're just going to get the fans in an uproar rather than, appease them. So it's tough. I do believe he should have been allowed to wash his hands. It's not like he's some egregious offender of the rules in Major League Baseball. He's not someone that's, some lightning rod that's going to be a real troublemaker. It's Edwin freaking Diaz. The worst thing he did was introduce the world to Narco by Blaster Jackson, Timmy Trumpet. And now that's a banger that ESPN completely destroyed during the NHL playoffs. Why ESPN? Why? You had no right.
Everywhere too. It's like other pitchers and hitters have used it. It's all over the place.
And Timmy Trumpet's out there in the world. He's actually a legitimate DJ. Like he's a world-class DJ filling up arenas and stuff. And then occasionally playing the song. Like Timmy Trumpet is going to be fine no matter what. Just let, I don't know, leave Edwin alone. Free sugar.
Well, the annoying thing is, playing a man down for 10 games for a bullpen that's already not been the best is brutal. Like it's not fair to the team because you thought he had sticky stuff. That the suspension is enough to make a whole team. It's like we're gonna slap you on the wrist. You're getting a man down for 10 days. That's a big deal when you're down a reliever. If there's a blowout, back to backs, if you have a double header in there at some point, like for a team that's fighting right now, it stunk, but we just keep battling through, and it continued with the demolishing of the Yankees. Let's flash this tweet from 14 years ago from a guy who was all over the news waves. Travis Kelce, the Yankees are getting smacked right now. Disappointed, but the Mets are good as hell. There's always a tweet. We said that with an old president. Now we say it with Travis Kelce. There's a tweet, and that is hang that tweet in the loop. I've gotten a little bit of annoyed at the Kelsey Taylor Swift bonanzasness, but listen, if Travis Kelsey's tweeting about the Mets demolishing the Yankees, and it's still true 14 years later, it's beautiful. And why I love it is the bragging rights. I was picked on so much by Yankee fans growing up, either friends, family. My brother's a Yankee fan, a cousin. We were bullied for so many years, and we still get bullied for being the little brother. Oh, 27 World Series. It was always, we have 27, you have 2. We have 27, you have 2. Well, of late, and I don't ever use this argument because I think it's kind of dumb, but Mets have made the World Series more recent than the Yankees. I think it's pretty dumb. But while the Yankees have the better record, like the bragging rights currently, I know you're in first place, just aren't there. We got it this week. So wear your Mets shirt loud and proud today, wherever you live, and be happy. You're a fan of a team led by a revolting purple blob. I'm going to go get a McDonald's fountain Diet Coke. I do that anyway because I'm addicted to those things. Those things are crack, McDonald's fountain Diet Coke. And then they got the deal when the Mets win the day after. Get a free medium fry on the app with a $1 purchase. Unfortunately, Diet Cokes aren't $1 anymore. It's like $2. But whatever. I pay $2. I get my free fry. I go on a nice walk. And that, to me, it offsets. Health-wise, in no way it offsets to walk and eat a medium French fry from McDonald's. But to me, I'm like rewarding myself for these steps I'm taking. I'm going to get a large Diet Coke and a medium fry. And in some ways, that's healthy. In other ways, it's leading to onset diabetes or something worse, or clogged arteries. Colin Cosell at Cosell.
Listen, it's better than just sitting there being stationary and just shoveling, like fries in a Diet Coke. If you're walking and eating, that's a better approach. I mean, if you're going to do
fry, each step goes with each fry.
Yeah. And just sit there, listen, throw in your AirPods and just listen to Narco. And it's like, dum 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 chomp, 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 slurp, 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 chomp, 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 slurp, 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 slurp.
Exactly.
It's perfect. I love that idea.
Health 101 right there. That's what it is. But we're going to have a fun summer now. Like a summer that looked doomed. A summer for Mets fans, content creators like me, you being in the ballpark. Like, it's going to be fun. And I said I was going to go to less games, and it's probably not going to happen now that they're winning, because when they win, I want to be there. There was a couple of weeks ago, I couldn't go. Like, I was like, I'll go to like maybe a game a week most. For me, that's nothing. I would go to like 5 out of 7 on a homestand, and I'll be like, I'll go this day for this giveaway, and that's it. Now it's must-see baseball, and that's what we wanted, and that's what we asked for. And the Astros come to town this weekend, like we said, Fireworks Day Friday. Be there, and it'll be a fun series. It'll be Blanco versus Quintana on Friday. Quintana has been pitching better, which is good, although I still think he'll be a trade candidate. It'll be McGill versus Valdez Saturday. McGill could be his last stand here before Christian Scott comes back. We'll see. McGill, if he has one more rough outing, it might be bye-bye to him. And then Sunday, TBD for Houston versus Luis Severino, who has been fantastic for the Mets. And now you talk about a guy who is a trade chip. It'd be a tough pill to swallow if they traded Luis Severino the way he has become this team ace. And you start to think of the Mets, if they're in the race August, September, of Senga, Severino, Christian Scott, and if
Minaya.
Minaya. Yeah, I forgot about Minaya. Minaya's been solid. Like, you got your lefty, so you got Senga, Severino, Minaya. And if that's a playoff, that's a solid 3. You only need 3 guys. And then you got Peterson's been solid since he came back. Yeah. Quintana, and then Christian Scott, and then maybe they trade for a guy. So the starters have been good. They need to get more length. That's the key. And they need to get bullpen arms. So that's going to be something to watch for David Stearns to go get. And maybe another closer. Like, who knows if he comes back and is the Diaz of old, of 2 years ago. But they need closer-like elite arms, because Brooks Raley's done for the year. Ottavino has not looked the same. Drew Smith might be out a while. Need closers, need great relievers.
Well, and now's a really exciting time. What's also interesting about this team and this organization right now is keeping an eye on the farm system, keeping an eye on the Rumble Ponies and the Syracuse Mets, because there's some arms in there that are making waves, and they're very, very impressive. And we keep working them and keep building them up and getting them, big league ready. we could start seeing them in August, in September, and giving them some reps and seeing what they can do. And maybe they can fill some gaps. Maybe they can push us over the edge, and no matter what, we're going to have tried and true people. I think Martinez is going to be reliable. Francisco Lindor is quietly the best shortstop in the league and has been for some time now. He is,
and in the leadoff spot, he's been tremendous. And Nimmo has found his hole in the two. And JD is just must watch. He's a professional hitter. He's incredible.
And Pete
Alvarez is hot.
Yeah, Alvarez is just like he's starting to find the fences. Vientos, can we talk about this for just 2 seconds? Vientos, everyone's just like, yeah, he's in there for his bat. Vientos made a diving stop last night and a throw to first to get an out and end the inning and get Manaea out of trouble. That was, or it was maybe the second out of the inning, whatever it was a huge play, but it was defense out of Vientos. That shows to me that this man is working at it, that he
needs to make some of those routine. He's missed a couple of routine balls. He's got to get those.
100%. But it shows improvement, like this same sort of improvement. Cause I've watched Alvarez since he was with the Cyclones. I was announcing games for the Cyclones this summer that he was, when he was there, Vientos was there, Mauricio was there. And I watched a young kid who was kind of cocky and couldn't quite figure it out and piece it together. And like, this is the future of the Mets and catching. And I was like, I don't see how that's going to happen. Little did I know the work was put in, and now Alvarez is a joy to watch and a threat, and he can be clutch as well, which is something that is paramount to your success in the playoffs. So right now there's, the Mets got through, let me see here. They got 9 hits or something like that through the 5 through 9 spot last night. They're all producing in different ways. And that is just, I don't know. It's exciting to watch. There's pieces in the mix. Our farm system's exciting again. The Mets are exciting again. And I can't preach this enough. It's just an awesome time to be a Mets fan. And none of us saw it coming. It's like Christmas in July and it's late June.
I was talking about a rebuild a few weeks ago, and now I don't want to utter that word again. So it really turned quick, and just keep it going, because we've seen teams, they go hot, they get hot, and then they get really cold. So I would love them to keep it going. And even a guy like Bader, I said automatically he's getting traded. Now it's like you might have to keep Bader. If he's only going to get you a low prospect, he's worth keeping at this point. The way he's been hitting, obviously his defense, but his bat out of the 9 spot leading into Lindor, he's almost like an extra leadoff hitter. When you have him at 9, it's Bader, Lindor, Nimmo. I mean, it's JD, Alonso. Like, if Alonso average-wise could get going, this lineup is cooking. And like I said, if you swap out McNeil for Iglesias, you're looking top to bottom at a elite lineup. McNeil's just been an automatic out, and his at-bats aren't really great. He has an occasional single, but that's it. So, and I think, my buddy Mark Luino mentioned on here that, he might need surgery. He's been playing hurt with something with his elbow where he chose not to get surgery. Maybe you just get the surgery and sit out, and he'll still get paid. And it would help the Mets if they had not an automatic out coming out of the 8 spot. But he is Colin Cosell at Cosell PA. He's the public address announcer for the Mets at Citi Field. And if you need a MC, I'll let you shout out your services. But if you're in need of an MC, a host, a bar mitzvah MC, I always want to be a bar mitzvah. Here comes Shlomo. I'm Jewish.
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly recorded things for bar mitzvahs and weddings, but as I mentioned before, I work, my day job for the past 4 years, I worked for a company as a corporate events host, MC, moderator, and the like. And so, if you work for a company that needs an event host or MC, I am for hire. Shoot me an email, colin@colincosell.com. But otherwise, I'll see you at the ballpark. I can't wait to, get into the second half of the season, see what happens. It's going to be ups and downs as per usual, but it's a fun team, and we're getting clutch hits out of Alvarez, the future, Bader, it was a stopgap. And of course, Lindor, Nimmo, top 1-2. It's a lot of fun right now. Enjoy it. Okay. Don't poo-poo Grimace. Don't get upset about the light show. Embrace the team, embrace the winning, embrace the vibes, and have some fun this summer, damn it.
Hags, have a good summer, as we used to write in the yearbooks back in the day, and we're hoping to have a good summer in Queens. Remember yearbooks?
Hags.
Remember that thing? Hags.
Oh, yeah.
That was like flirting with the girl. Was like hags.
I do that at the end of each season. I take one of our giveaway hats, and I have the my production team sign my hat. This is my yearbook each year. I have multiple 6 of these now because I'm in my 7th season. So,
Nice.
so yeah, that's my Hags hat.
Oh, all right. Hag's hat. I like it. He is Colin Cosell. We'll see you at the ballpark. Maybe when I have an unlimited food, I'll come bring you something that will. Do you ever have to like take a dump during a game and like you either have to hold it in or you have to go and then have someone replace? Have you ever had to be replaced mid game, or do you just avoid eating anything that will make you poop?
No, I eat. But no, I've never had to poop during a game. I've had to pee during a game, and yeah, actually last night I had to pee desperately because I was consuming copious amounts of water. And
Yeah, what do you do in that situation?
you just cross your legs, you do the dance, and I was like, oh, good, I've got an opportunity coming up here in the 5th, and then there was a pitching change, and I was like, and I have to sit there and wait to announce the pitcher, and then I was like, oh, I've got an opportunity coming up here in the 6th inning, at the bottom of the 6th, and it's just like, oh no, there's a defensive change, and it's like, oh, for the love of God, you just sit there and you hold it and you pray, and then when I finally got an opportunity, during the 8th inning, I made a mad dash down the hall, and one of the production teams who was broadcasting last night, they were like in the hallway, and I was like running full speed, and I was just like, please move. And they're like, whoa. And I just went running in there, had a wonderful pee, ran back down the hall. I was like, thank you. And they're like, you're welcome. Then a guy sneezed. I said, God bless you. And he's like, thanks. And then there's this whole weird interaction that happened. And then I got in. And
so you have to go between innings when there's not a change, and you got to make it quick because you got to announce the first batter. So I could never, because I pee like 4 or 5 times a game. I mean, not like.
There's a method to madness. 10 minutes before my first announcement, I will run to the bathroom, even if I don't have to go, and make sure that just I've been going in there with an empty bladder, because I drink a lot of water. That's good for the vocal cords. I drink a lot of my tea concoction that keeps my voice strong. So there's a lot of liquid consumed throughout the game. The early innings are the safest because there's not going to be as many defensive changes, and I don't have as many reads. There's a lot of in-game host stuff with Emily and Mike. But the thing is, I've already emptied out my bladder, so it's tough. But on the plus side, the hotter months you're sweating more, so you pee less. That water is kind of repurposed into sweat. So it's a crapshoot, but at least not actually having to go crap. It's always been a pee thing. I do know there's a story of a previous PA announcer who had some tummy troubles, and someone had to step in and announce next batter. But that was not me.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. The way I eat it and drink, I'd be peeing and pooping everywhere. And that wraps up. You said concoction, Ty Adcock concoction. A couple fantasy team name right there. Ty Adcock concoction. Colin Cosell, thanks for coming on Mets Magic.
Thanks for having me, man. It's a pleasure as always. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. He's Colin Cosell at Cosell PA. You can find him. Hire him if you need him. You know where to find him. I'm Jake Brown at the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. Make sure you subscribe, smash that thumbs up, comment below, subscribe wherever you get podcasts. Subscribe to my YouTube, youtube.com/@JakeBrownRadio. A lot of good food reviews from Citi Field still coming. I got more in the deck that are coming up. And we'll see you at Citi Field this weekend. We'll be back next week after the Mets series against the Nationals around the 4th of July. The vibes are immaculate in Metsland, and you've been listening. You've been watching the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic. Let's go Mets. Let's get over 500 this weekend. We'll talk to you next time.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast, Mets Magic on YouTube, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.